everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the G.I. Joe classified figure Major Bludd version 2. So they did have a version 1 like really early in the series. He was part of the Cobra Island wave of figures. So now they got this version. So we're going to see what is different with him from the original version and see if this figure is even worth having. So first thing I want to mention is the factor that I do have a membership program. So for $2 a month, you get a lot of cool stuff like blooper reels, behind the scenes, and much more. So without any further ado, roll that intro. Okay, so here he is in packaging. So you got your standard classified packaging. So you have Cobra up top, his name. You have a window where you can see the figure and all his accessories. You got the Cobra logo, G.I. Joe classified, your choking hazards, age restriction, and Hasbro. Come around here. You do get a picture of the figure, the G.I. Joe logo, and his number. Come around to the back here. You get a couple of different things. So you get a picture of the head sculpt, his helmet, and a picture of the figure. Plus you get a bunch of legal underneath. Come around to this side here. You get his stats, the Cobra logo, his number, and your QR code. All right. Come around to the top. You got his number and the Cobra logo. And underneath you got your legal and SKU. So all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. Now the first thing we're going to do is go through his points of articulation. So the head does move. All right. Get his shoulder joint here with a swivel, very tight. You got elbow joint and you do have a wrist joint. All right. Bring that back around. The other arm is pretty much the same. So you got your shoulder, swivel, elbow, and wrist. All right, get both of these arms up. You do have a joint right underneath the ribs. And you do have a swivel at the hips. And you do have a thigh joint. There should be a swivel in here. It's a little bit tight, but it is there. You got a knee joint. All right. Should have a swivel at the top of the boot. And you also have an ankle joint. So some of his joints are a little bit on the tight side. You may want to use just a little bit of heat, maybe up here in the thighs and all. But other than that, everything seems to move pretty well with him. So now let's start getting into the finer details. So first off, let's start with the head sculpt. I do like the design of the head sculpt. It looks very much reminiscent to the original version. All right. And I love all the scarring and detail on the side of his head. All right. And back around this way. I love how the body looks. I love this red in the armor. And then it gives it like these silver highlights to make it look like maybe paint has been scraped off and what have you. You know, he has these little tools here on his belt and so forth. All right, come around to this side. You get this nice holster with this silver band. I do like that. Bring this arm down so you can take a good look at it. So you get this nice detail. I like the black. They put a little bit of that silver in there to kind of give it a little bit extra pop. Spin this hand around. You can see the red in this hand. And even when you come around this way, you can see all this red in the arm. So I'm liking the red detail to his arm and body armor. I think it really gives it a sense of pop. The same with the silver. You can see more of that on the back of his armor. I like that as well. All right, come around here. Bring this arm down. Now he has the Destro logo on his arm there, right on the bicep. So that's pretty interesting. I'm wondering if they're now having him defect to the Iron Grenadiers, but he does have that there. Now this armor here on his forearm, that looks nice too. You can see more of that beat up metal look, so it looks like, you know, he's been around a little bit. So so far liking the overall look to this figure. Now let's start getting a look at his accessories. So first off, he has his iconic helmet, and this too has like that silver wash, which is really nice. You look at the back of the helmet, you can really see it on the back there. So I'm liking some of the attention to detail to this figure. Looks really good on him. Next off, he has this revolver. I like how they did the chamber here, the cylinder. That looks really nice. Then you have this red piece on the back of the grip. So I'm liking the overall look to that. That looks pretty good. And fortunately, it doesn't have anything for any kind of muzzle effects or blast effects. All right, next up is his missile gun here. All right, that's just a basic black. Nothing too spectacular going on here. We have said missiles for the missile gun. So you have this one here, 1 and 2. There he has his backpack that the missiles are supposed to connect onto. All right. And then last but not least, he has his dog tags. Now, I'm not too sure how I feel about these. They look very translucent. Oops, twisted into my finger. Sorry about that. Now, I'm not sure if I like that translucent. I don't know if they're trying to go with a silver look with this or what. But that's the worst thing about this figure. Can't complain that much. So now let's start getting into all this. So first, let's put this on him. All right, so that's on. His iconic helmet's on. All right, nice snug fit. Down there like that. Spin around to the back here. Put the backpack on. Now, one thing I'm noticing right off the cuff here. Let me line this up. His armor is not lined up very well with this. Get that on there. I'm not liking the factor that his backpack is just a solid black. Still trying to line this up. There it goes. All right. Man. All right. That is not wanting to work. What's happening is the armor keeps on wanting to sink down. Makes it hard to put this backpack in the hole. So I'm trying to line this up. All right, hold up. All right, so I played around with the backpack a little bit off screen, and I believe I got it in there now. There's a little bit of a bugger lining up the hole with the peg because of how the armor is set up. So I believe I got it in there. It should be all right. And oh, what I was saying about the backpack is I would have liked to have this have that same wash as his armor does, because it kind of feels out of place. You got this solid black backpack with this, black armor with a wash over it. So I think they should have at least did something like that to the pack. And it's not really sitting on there that well. So take a look. It's actually off to the side. This peg is just not wanting to go in proper. There, I think I might have got it now. There it goes. So, the backpack, just a little bit of a bugger to get on them. So now let's see how well all this stuff is working. So first, let's do the pistol. All right, let's see how well this fits in his hand. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's put the pistol in this hand. All right. All right. Get him to stay on here. All right, so the pistol fits fine in there. No issues. Now, the reason why I wanted to switch the hands around was because if I remember right from the original Major Bludd figure, the whole reason of this cybernetic arm is so it can handle the recoil of the missile blaster. Because these missiles are supposed to actually hook on here like that. All right. And then he's supposed to be able to fire the missiles off of there. And the robotic arm is supposed to handle the recoil, if I remember right. So both weapons do fit very well in his hands. No issues. Now let's see how well these missiles fit on this pack here. This is going to be fun. All right. All right. So they seem to fit on there pretty well. Don't have any issues. Okay. Yeah, they don't fall off of there. So they seem to be in there pretty snug. And then, of course, you got your pistol here. It should fit nicely in here, theoretically. There it goes. So that fits in there as well. So everything seems to fit well on this figure. Okay, so here's both of the two Major Bludds side by side. And in all honesty, there's not a whole lot of difference other than paint deco. So one thing I do notice is that the head sculpts are very much similar. The only difference that I can really pick out between the two of them is that this one has the little red piece in it, opposed to this one being black. The armor is sized a little bit different, or the figure sized different, because if you notice, right here, you can actually see his belly underneath the armor, opposed to this one that comes all the way down to the belt buckle. So there's definitely some differences there. When you come down from the waist down, it's pretty much the same, except for they both have different knee pads. So his, I don't know, he doesn't want to cooperate with the stands today. So his are a little bit more filled out, takes up more of the kneecap, opposed to this one, who has the smaller caps on his knees. Now, most of the main difference is also in his right arm. Oh, shoot, man, he doesn't want to stay on this damn wharf. All right, so let's switch both of these guys around this way. So you can see some major difference. So this sort of has like a rough pattern on it, where this one's a more smooth pattern. This also has the Destro logo. Now the forearm is similar, except for the main difference in these arms also is the factor that they hide the pins in here. So in this one, you can see the pins. This arm, you can't. So that's definitely a major difference. And I'm noticing that in the legs too. Like if you look at his legs, you can see the pinholes. You look at his legs, there are no pinholes. So they obviously made some improvements with this one opposed to the original. All right, switch him around this way. Switch him around. And you can see the same thing here. No pinholes, which is really nice. I like that. And him, he has the M logo on his shoulder, opposed to him not having it. So there are some differences, but not a whole lot. Mainly, what it does, it looks like they fixed some of the flaws in the figure, and they changed this arm. Now, I like these dog tags better than these ones. Swing this back around. So it has more of a metal look. They look like actual dog tags, where this one, once again, has that like fake translucent silver. So I'm not a big fan of that, but overall, both of them look pretty cool. And the helmets, as you can see here, just your standard paint job, no extra detail to it. And of course, his has the silver and everything, which we spoke about earlier. Okay, so now let's get into my final thoughts with him. So first off, all his joints, for the most part, move all right. There are a couple of tight joints, like in the shoulder and in the thighs, so you may want to use a little bit of heat just to loosen that up. But overall, everything seems to move pretty well with him. Also, his accessories all fit pretty well with him. Didn't have any issues with any of his accessories, and I do like the overall look to him. So, would I recommend this figure? Yes, I would. I like him a lot. Matter of fact, putting these two together, I actually kind of like him better than the original one. I like the color a lot better. I like the wash that they put onto him. I like the factor that they hid the pins, so now you don't see the pins in all. So I think that's a improvement upon the original. But for the most part, other than color scheme and a couple of details like a different arm here, and a couple prosthetics that they did fix up on him, they're basically the same figure. There's a few things that I like better about him, like I like how his chain looks more silver opposed to this one more translucent. And for the most part, that's it. And he looks a little bit more like the original, but this is definitely the one that I like better personally. So I would recommend this figure. Definitely, he'll go great with the rest of your Joes. Now, the only thing I'm waiting for is that for them to actually come out with the retro Major Bludd, because I would actually like to see a Major Bludd with the actual eye patch. I think that would be really cool, but we'll see what Hasbro has down the line. So, with that being said, first thing I want to do is give a shout out to the people who support this channel. First on that list is Byron Bassett and his alter ego, Humongous. He's done a lot for his channel, very much appreciated, and he's a big supporter of it. And I also ask that you check out his YouTube channel, which the link is down below, and his show that he does every Sunday. Also, I want to give a shout out to Action Figure Geeks, their Reddit channel that I'm part of, who also supports this channel, and to everybody who has watched this video so far. I really appreciate you. The same with everybody who subscribes. You're all appreciated, and I thank you all very much. And I'd ask you to check out my G.I. Joe playlist and my membership program. Plus, hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.